Good morning. We're late. My bad. Normally I try to start on the hour. OBS had an update. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And I'm a socialist, and because many people, if you ask them, could not define socialism, I want to make sure that I say, hey, socialism is any egalitarian movement, and we'll put a pin in that, social or economic theory, which includes social ownership of business and overthrowing the means of production. But it's 2025, so what we can do now, because we have words, is we can better define socialism. So, egalitarian is an awesome word, but it just means pro-equality. So, socialism is any pro-equality movement, whether social or economic or political, encouraging the social ownership of business. In 2025, in the United States, when we have a stock market, okay? Morning. The social ownership of business is like when you work for a company and they offer you a stock option. That's the employee's opportunity to own part of the business. And I'm just being realistic. There's many people who want to argue that stock ownership it conflates with socialist ideals, and it's like, no, you kind of got to play within the system you're in. Okay? So, for example, all these companies, for example, right now we're in the middle of a 40-day Target boycott. Well, Target's stock is going to dip. And what should happen is they should unionize. The employees should unionize, and they should collectively decide to buy that Target stock and collectively own Target, for example. Now, is it going to happen? Fucking no. People aren't well organized. And the other part of socialism is seizing the means of production. And a lot of people think that means like violently overtaking your oppressors. And no, that's called communism. And that's how you get communism. Seizing the means of production in the modern world means joining a union and becoming a union leader and impacting pay and benefits for your fellow employees. That's seizing the means of production and taking for yourselves what you're due, right? Like a living wage in healthcare, flatly. Okay? So I know a lot of people struggle to define and struggle to converse about what is socialism. Any pro equality movement aimed at any pro union movement, right? Because we've talked about there are many flavors of socialism. One of them is called syndicalism, which is the desire for unions to lead and for unions to be just as powerful as politicians. And as you can see in the United States, it is us versus them. It is rich versus poor. It's not left versus right. The one thing I've learned in my life, if you actually talk to most people when they call themselves like conservative or liberal, they're mostly saying the same shit. They have no clue what they're talking about. Largely, I see people still today making content talking about the left. Shut the fuck up. You don't know, you cannot define your audience. And if you can't define your audience and you have to boil them down to liberal or conservative, you're an idiot. And you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And that's okay. That's why you're here with me, is because I'm not trying to label my audience conservative or liberal. I'm not trying to aim my content at left or right, because that's fucking stupid. And that's what we've been told our whole lives. And it's really rich versus poor and some suckers, right? So, one of the things that I want to make sure I share with you, okay, is this YouTube video called Don't Be a Sucker. Um, so, okay, morning. So yeah, while we're hanging out, I always want to try to be helpful and say, hey, socialism's not hard to explain, but people are stupid. So one of the things that I've heard since the election is that equality shit doesn't win elections, and I just wanted to point out that that's not fucking true at all. Um, in all this, um, the one thing that I've noticed, I don't know about anybody else, but I've noticed Donald Trump will sacrifice everything for himself. And it's going to come out in the wash that it was very destructive for the Republican Party because they're unable to govern. I want to make sure we say it early and often. The Trump administration is completely ineffective and is not having a great deal of success. Um, yeah. Okay. He's not. Here's Donald Trump being issued an impeachment warning. Newsweek. Oh no shit. Laura Ingraham says if the Dems win the midterms, they'll impeach him again. No shit. No shit. What are we even talking about? And this is what I'm really excited for. One of the people fired was the IRS chief who said, and I quote, "I'm just trying to do my goddamn job. They have no idea who they picked a fucking fight with." And oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. I wanna I wanna see what happens. Yeah, and I wanna point this out too. Okay. Do you know how goddamn stupid Donald Trump is? In their rush to eliminate DEI from everything, They literally deleted 26,000 photos of Enola Gay, which is a goddamn airplane, first of all. Enola Gay is a fucking airplane. You fucking idiots. They didn't mean like gay as in it liked other airplanes. Enola Gay is a Boeing B-29 Superfortress bomber named after Enola Gay Tibbets, the mother of the pilot, Colonel Paul Tibbets. On August 6, 1945, during the final stages of World War II, it became the first aircraft to drop an atomic bomb in warfare. So I just want to point out, okay? I just want to point out that not only did he delete pieces of history, right? Enola Gay, the aircraft, the dropping of the atomic bombs, not our proudest fucking moments, but moments in our history nonetheless. And go figure, this fucking idiot, Donald Trump, is under the guise of DEI deleting mostly photos of fucking airplanes, you fucking moron. What the fuck did that have to do with DEI? You fucking idiots. Oh, this is fun. I like seeing them lose their minds. Here's Marco Rubio melts down at Musk and furious cabinet shouting match. Yes. Yes, I need this. I need it to eat itself. I need the leopards eat faces party to continue to eat leopard face first. Right? This, oh, just great fucking stories. Great stories today. Tesla shares have declined every week since Elon Musk went to Washington, and I want to point out Elon Musk and Tesla committed a whole fuckload of fraud. So here's what happened. Their sales have been really shitty, okay? And then I want to say it was Canada, where like 4,000 fucking Teslas got sold over a 2-day period, including one dealership which sold 400 Teslas in a day. Also, they could fuck up their EV credit program right before it goes away. So I just want to point that out. I just want to point this out. Elon Musk committing a whole fuckload of fraud. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And for people wondering like how much money is that, Jared? Well, consider that a fucking Tesla is about $100,000. 4,000, about $100,000. Oh, okay. Yeah, about $4 billion. So, is that right? Had 3 zeros, and then it's 9 zeros. Yeah, it's about a $4 billion swing. So, just want to throw that out there. You think he's just gonna get away with it because it's Canada? Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Do you know how many people hate Elon Musk with a passion? just because Donald Trump will do anything to protect his boyfriend. Okay. Oh, so remember how I just told you Marco Rubio got into a shouting match in a cabinet session? How about Donald Trump exploded when he was asked about it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but we know uh Trump announces 250% tariff. What? So he's pausing a 25% tariff to introduce a 250% tariff immediately. Donald Trump has a speak English executive order, which is hilarious because he can't read. Republicans join Democrats in Montana to defeat a crazy anti-trans legislation. Yo, I was late today too, yo. I went to get on here. I was gonna be a minute late, no matter what. And I opened OBS and there was an update. And then when I updated it, and I still would have been fine. It was like 8:57. And I would have been good. Uh when it opened back up it crashed. Having just updated. So had to reload and we ended up being a little late. Life happens. I'm still here. I still showed up within the first 5 minutes of my shift. I'm on time. But yeah. Um, Republicans join Democrats to defeat anti-trans legislation in Montana. It's good to see. So can you get off my screen, Grammarly? Thank you. Shout out Bernie Sanders pulling 3,000 people together in Wisconsin on a Friday evening. Shout out to everybody that participated in the what was it called? The March for Science? Is that what they were calling that? Stand Up for Science, which was awesome. And also, as somebody who's a founder of something, the founder of R50501 is batshit crazy. So you could read this and just understand that I'm sane and that person's well. And you know what is the most bizarre shit of all of this? Like the most bizarre shit every day when I log on to the goddamn internet. Someone is just now coming around to the idea like that the election was hacked or interfered with or stolen, and it's like, where the fuck have you been for the last 4 fucking months? Like, what is happening? How is it just now come across your desk, right? So yeah, here's Bill Nye. Like, hey, there are randomly like a good white person, right? And obviously, if Bill Nye turns out to be a piece of shit, I never liked him. It's just pointing out he was there. I want to point out schools, high schools are starting to plan walkouts. So if any of you are educators, Lindbergh High School in Renton, Washington, in response to protests against his and Elon's oligarchy, current President Trump has demanded that protesting students and teachers be expelled or fired, with involved colleges being cut of funding. He has also demanded that immigrants who are part of the illegal protests be deported, as the right to protest is protected by the First Amendment. This demand goes against the very way this country was founded and what it stands for now. Okay? So, hey, for those of you that don't pay attention to the news, my least favorite people are the people that don't pay attention. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't watch the news. What do you do? Oh, why you gotta be so political? Because everything's fucking political. What are we talking about? And full disclosure, this job that I'm about to interview for on Tuesday to be the head coach of a football team in Northwest Indiana at Tri-County High School, the Tri-County Cavaliers. Um, I'm teetering on it being a job I'd move and take, but they better really come with something. It ain't about what I offer. Good to go. I'll put it like this. I am a 0 or 100% person. You are either getting no effort from me and I don't want to be here, or I'm all in. And so when you hire me, you can't tell me you can't do that. Oh, I'm going to be here every morning, year round, working out your athletes, trying to grow my football program. I'm also going to use social media extensively to recruit. I need players, I need coaches, I need more cheerleaders. I need a bigger marching band. This town's only got 1,000 people in it. Good to go. I need fireworks because that's what I'm bringing. So it's like the carpet might not match the drapes. I'm just putting it out there before I even interview. It's a quiet town. This is a primarily white town whose second biggest demographic is Latino kids. Good to go. And I'm not saying I don't want to be around Latino kids. I'm saying around. Okay. So it'll really kind of depend on the reception, on how I'm received. Because I know that if you have a really good football coach, it can do wonders for a whole town, for a whole city. And if you don't treat that coach very well, he won't stay long. And I'm not selling my house and moving for a shit opportunity. Just so everyone knows. That's over a 90-minute ride one way. I'm not taking that job and driving 90 minutes one way nowhere. Good to go. That would never happen, not in a million fucking years. That would be a terrible decision. Wildly unsafe. Imagine driving on your way to work through two cities. Because I would have to drive through Indianapolis to get to 65, which goes from Indianapolis, Indiana to Chicago, and then drive through Lafayette. Who wants to fucking do that? Twice a day? You're out of your fucking mind. No. So, the only way for us to end up there is for the town to go all in. Is to say, we'll make it really easy to move. Here's a job. My wife's going to need a job, right? I have a job. They're going to have to work. My job's going to have to work with me, right? And if everything doesn't go perfectly, I'm not doing it. Because if I have too much outside stress, job's not worth it. No job is. This is added work, right? The good news is that I want a reason to work earlier in the day, and the company I work for wants me to keep working for them. So they'll play ball to a degree. But if it ain't exactly right, it's not gonna happen. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not finagling nothing. Good to go. Because that's not how I am, right? I fit, right? I go and I have a mission and a job and I'm gonna do that shit, right? Most people half-ass everything. They'll get a great opportunity and they'll half-ass that shit. And I'm not that way. So I'm just making sure everybody knows. I'm an outstanding fucking interview. I've gotten every single job I've ever gotten the fucking walk-in. Now, do I expect that to happen on Tuesday? No. No. Why? Because things change, dreams change. They're coming in with a resume that says I'm in school right now. And that I'm going to go through the transition teaching program. And that shit's long gone. I got a job offer that I couldn't pass up. That could absolutely fund a football program. And money is the mission. When it comes to a high school football program, money, equipment, travel, camps, money. You need money. It would have made both my first two jobs a lot different. And not a single other thing could have happened. Not more manpower, none of that shit. Nope. And it's going to be really hard to get coaches to want to coach with me. Why? Because I'm a first-time head coach in a small town. You think anybody's going to come out there and help me? No. So they got to have a whole staff ready to go and just need a leader and be very welcoming and understand what exactly a fucking great head coach could bring to your town. Because otherwise, this town's a rough look. You go look up Wolcott, Indiana. Largest group of people over 75. Tells you everything you need to know, right? All old money. So, but it's nice, cute little small town, and that's kind of what my wife and I were looking for. So, it's certainly on our radar. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I know it's not, what we're talking about, but it's part of my life. So, all right. So every day we're gonna share the calendar, okay, and say here. This is where we are. Okay, we're amidst no Amazon, no Target. So no Amazon for a week. That started yesterday. So next Saturday, you could order your little heart out from Amazon. Okay. Today is the Women's March. Today is International Women's Day. So I got to make sure in my mostly female audience, I say, hey, ladies, thank you for being here. Go protest today. Today's the Women's March. Remember, next Friday, okay, is the national strike. Next Saturday, a total shutdown. No travel, spending, working. Is next Friday, Saturday. Okay. And that's about as far as I want to go. Okay. Week to week. Why? Because I don't want to fill you up with too much info and then you fucking freak out and not do anything, right? So, you starting yesterday, no Amazon for a week. You can order on Amazon next Saturday. Okay. There's a Women's March today. Ladies, happy International Women's Day. There's a national strike next Friday and a total shutdown next Saturday, March 14th and 15th. Okay. You can click on that link and use that calendar. Okay. I'll encourage you to reach out to your representatives. I live in a red state, and when I use 5 calls, I get all voicemails, and I leave all voicemails, and I never heard anything back. In fact, when I reached out to, I believe it's Mike Braun here in Indiana, and expressed how I felt it was dangerous to lower lower benefits for veterans, given how many of them are like reliant on healthcare, and he took Donald Trump's side and says it just may require you losing some benefits, and that he supports Donald Trump. And like I said, every one of these Republicans took money from Russia, our enemy. Every single elected official. that is a Republican took money from Russia, and 100 Democrats took money from AIPAC. It's an American-Israeli Political Action Committee, including people like Hakeem Jeffries. So one of the reasons, and I want to make sure we say this loud and fucking clear, one of the reasons that I'm off the Democrats altogether is because it's the people receiving money from people like AIPAC that are shushing and silencing other Democrats. I'm willing to bet money. Hey, Tony, we'll be back on TikTok tomorrow and Monday. We'll try not to get kicked off there. But there's a reason the Democrats have been so timid, and it's because they're all bought and paid for by AIPAC. So the problem in the United States, the reason that people are being quiet is because their bellies are full. They've been stock trading and insider trading. They're bankrolled by AIPAC. They're gonna shush other people. From what I understand, the Democrats had a come to Jesus moment after Al Green got censured. And again, I'm saying censuring the people standing up and speaking out is not playing the opposition party. And one of the things that I don't like is that I don't know who's in charge of the Democrats, and I don't know who their leadership is, and it's not clearly defined. And when your leadership is not clearly defined, and you don't know who's in charge, they're not in front of a camera, right? In my eyes, Hakeem Jeffries, Gavin Newsom, they're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Hakeem Jeffries went out west and kissed all the billionaires' asses and met with Bezos. And he did that because he's a fucking AIPAC pawn. So there's not a single Democrat that I'm saying is like got their shit together. It's AOC, it's Jasmine Crockett, she's not an establishment Democrat. She doesn't even fucking talk like one. She would talk like an establishment Democrat if she was an establishment Democrat. But like Bernie Sanders, a lot of people talk about Bernie Sanders, right? He's not a Democrat either. He's an independent. He ran as a Democrat because there's not a workers' party in the United States. There's not a political party that appeals to everybody, right? We're building the American Socialist Party, and how are we going to do that? Well, we got to define socialism and make it palatable for people. There's a reason I try to say, like, I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. Kind of rolls off the tongue. But most importantly, like, I don't want you, there was a data that came out in the fall that said, you're 50-50 to get divorced. Like when you get married. It's a 50-50 prop. You either do or you don't, right? But 66% of those divorces were ending because of medical debt. That's why Kamala Harris passed that law saying medical debt don't go on your credit. So that when your spouse dies, they can't just track you down and charge you for that. Okay? So, right. Their silence is fucking deafening. Their cowardice is crushing. And it's certainly not what I thought was going to happen. I thought that they would say something. I mean, look at Stephen Colbert holding up a sign that says, try harder. They're asking for fucking donations. Donations to do what? More nothing? And again, I've been on the other side of that coin where I'm like, this is a matter of national and international security. There's all kinds of reasons. There's decorum, but I'm running out of decorum. That decorum shit is starting to wear on me. Where I'm just like, traditions and fucking the way we've been doing it isn't fucking working for me. There's a reason why I keep saying, like, I'm good to found the American Socialist Party, and we find people that are former union heads and school teachers that are union heads that understand what I'm saying when I say, like, I'm a socialist. I don't want people dying with a mountain of medical debt that they were paying all their excess money toward. I don't want you to succumb to interest and rent and taxes. These things are all derivative of your labor. And what I am absolutely saying is, I want to see your rent go down. I want to see your healthcare cost less than work. I don't want you to have student loans to go to college. Shit, I would take just affordable college. And I feel like it's a step in the right direction. And the housing issue, think about, there are 10 times as many open beds and homes as there are homeless people. There's your fucking homeless problem solved. Everywhere that there are homeless people, there is a home they got kicked out of. And do you know why there are so many fucking homeless people? I'll tell you. As a homeowner, as a dink, right? As somebody who doesn't have kids, who has had opportunities and extra income, uh, it's because you can't build another house on your land and let someone live in it. It's illegal. Do you know what you have to do? Because I had this dream of Arnold Schwarzenegger beat me to it. God damn it! But I had this dream of buying land and building tiny homes on them and giving them to homeless veterans and saying, "Here's a really nice tiny home. Make it your shit." You can't fucking do that. Actually, you can't. You can't on land you own. On land you own, you can't build another house and let someone live in it. But what you would need to do, okay, is buy land zone commercial and establish like an LLC, and you have to rent them out. You could rent it for $1. You could even give them a fucking dollar. But you can't just build a tiny home on your land and have someone live in it. It's illegal. So, if you ever wondered why there's so many homeless people, it's because the people that have money, that own homes, that could afford to take out a loan, that could put a fucking tiny home on their land, because it's about $50K to get it in and done. Not counting how much a water hookup's going to cost. I'm just talking about laying the foundation and laying a tiny home on it. Um, yeah, you can't do that on land you own residentially. You don't have permit. You'd have to get permits to build, and there's pipes running every fucking where. Pipes and wires, man, underground everywhere. And again, I'm just speaking as someone that like has the intentions of using whatever material wealth I generate to help the people around me. And of course, I don't want my fellow veterans to be fucking homeless. So I'd love to be in a position to give them a tiny home, right? Or give them a home, give them a place to call their own. Um, but you can't do that. You can't do that. It's hard enough to even give someone money. You know what I mean? See, the biggest problem that I see right now is that Donald Trump, every day that he's been in office, has threatened to eliminate social safety nets. And I worked in the industry where these social safety nets are most prevalent. And I'm talking about Social Security, Medicare. Okay. Hey, college is free to North Carolina residents earning under 80,000. State college and Duke free under 150K. Mm-hmm. So, see, that's a step in the right direction. That is a socialist policy, Kathleen. When you give free tuition to college, that's universal education. It has some economic limitations, but what percent of people in the state of North Carolina earn between 80 and 150,000? It's not a lot. The average household income is under 80,000. So what are the odds that only one person works in that house and makes 80K? No. So how can Rhea do it? What do you mean? Rhea do what? But yeah, homelessness being criminalized, I mean, they've been. See, what really happened was they eliminated a lot of mental health institutions. Namely, because you used to be able to get people committed. And frankly, historically anyway, some of the most powerful people in the world have been committable. Should have been institutionalized. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, these fucking psychos. Okay? But they stopped all that shit. Can Like I told you, the first schools to go tuition free win. Yep. I've always said that. You know, the worst thing that ever happened, I believe it was 1970 when they eliminated institutionalization, which is my ability to make a phone call and have someone committed. They took that shit away. Why? And I'll tell you, it's because a lot of the rich people in the United States didn't want to be committed. So they pulled their money power together and they eliminated that. And it allowed them to hold on to power longer and hold on to their money longer and be. Homeland Security ends their contract with TSA. Is that today? FAA workers threatened with firing if they impede Elon Musk's SpaceX federal deal. Judge finds Mike Lindell in contempt for failing to turn over documents in Smartmatic defamation case. Ooh. Ooh. But yeah. I still can't believe like Marjorie Taylor Greene heckled Joe Biden and shit and didn't get censured. Okay, dog. With that nonsense. So yeah, that's for the record why. I haven't even gone to Twitter in a while. Sorry. I just don't use Twitter and Facebook, so if everybody's wondering why I created social media accounts and then don't use them, that's why. It's just like you, I stopped using this shit. And one thing I try not to do is read into stuff and share it with you because I don't want you to see me as like susceptible to misinformation. But that's when I go on Twitter, I read stuff and I'm like, I can't verify if that's true or not. And I start questioning shit. And it's just not what I'd much rather do is sit on Reddit, pull up actual news sources from BBC, from Reuters, from AP. You know what I mean? From Newsweek, like reputable sources and share those and talk about those things. Because when I get on Twitter, it's like a fucking alternate reality. It's like same planet, same people, alternate fucking reality. It is how can be Angela asked, "How can America be great if there's no education system? What do they want for America?" Oh, they want poor workers. So what is happening is all of the billionaires in the world, there's about 3,000 of them, okay? They've realized, and I hope you all realize, what is the most pressing issue right now? What is the most pressing issue right now? Climate change. They've all realized there's nothing they can do to slow it down. They can't affect what's going to happen. So they're trying to stuff their pockets, right? Trying to stuff their pockets. And they're trying to gather power. Knowing that the only way they survive, all these 3,000 billionaires, all the only way they survive is to take your ability to pay your bills, speak your mind, protect yourself, use the police, use ICE to detain anyone they view as an opponent. That includes people like me. Anyone they view as an opponent. They want to imprison you. And then they want to use you as slave labor. That's what these billionaires have decided. They'll fight your union hand and foot, right? They'll fight your union. Okay? They'll fight your ability to organize. They'll take away your right to vote, take away your ability to own a gun, right? Donald Trump's already talked about that. How do we take guns away from just one group of people? Right? They've talked about that. And there, you know what I realized? You know what I realized? They wouldn't be able to do all this shit if they hadn't destroyed the middle class. Why? Because if you had enough money, you had enough money, you had enough time, what probably would have happened? Oh, militia would have overrun Washington, D.C. already, but they don't have money. So they can't protect themselves. They don't have vests, they don't have firearms, they don't have it. They don't have it. Not to mention, if you assault the U.S. Capitol, you have to think about the U.S. military and the police and Secret Service and all these other people protecting these people. Because I don't think it's half. I don't think half of all the people employed in the U.S. government are Trump sympathizers. I think that number is waning. I think the number of people that are sympathetic to what this administration is doing is going down by the day. And that's a combination of factors: bird flu, COVID, the flu. What is there? Fucking measles in Texas, tuberculosis in Kansas. There's fires all over the fucking place. I hate to be that guy, but I'm that guy. Who do you think all of those things largely affect? People that don't watch the news, people that are in denial, right? Yep. Some people just walking around with fucking blinders on. And the thing that I've noticed, Ange, is white people, like people that haven't experienced anything in their lives, get radicalized as soon as it happens to them. And again, there's a reason why I think, and I've been saying, that all this shit is for a reason. There's a reason I've been saying, like, they're quiet. And that's because justice is coming. And why open your mouth and insert your foot when your fucking opponent's doing it for himself every day? That motherfucker has to walk back some shit. Yesterday, it was a 25% tariff on Canada. By the end of the day, a 250% tariff on Canada, and which is even worse. It's even worse. So here's a proposed class action lawsuit against the Freedom Convoy organizers. Okay. Ottawa residents and businesses are suing for $290 million. Here's the AP thing. Homeland Security ends TSA collective bargaining agreement in effort to dismantle union protections. Yep. Just make sure. Yeah, they want to eliminate the middle class because that's the group of people that are most likely to have the means to resist. You know, one of the things that poor people don't do, or I'm sorry, rich people don't protest. Uh, it's the poor and the middle class that protest. And the middle class has the extra pitchfork. Does that make sense? They've got rich people don't protest. Poor people protest. But poor people just protest non-violently because they don't have a pot to piss in. It's the middle class that has the extra pitchfork that makes the poor protest. Ta-da! Now it's a fucking protest. Um, it's just they've decimated the middle class. And they've made it so the middle class doesn't have the extra pitchfork. And now it's just all poor people protesting and nonviolently because none of us have the means to fight the state when the state comes out. When the pigs come out in riot gear. And how the fuck could you be in a union job? This is what I'll never figure this out. How the fuck could you be a union job and be against protest? Y'all are on the same team. I could never figure that shit out. Except again, there are people that are sympathizers, that are Russian sympathizers, that are Donald Trump sympathizers, everywhere. And unions, the problem with unions is that the union leadership interjects their personal politics. Instead of being a leader and understanding that being a leader is about leading a group of people and their consciousness and not interjecting your own, making that your fucking union's consciousness and informing your fucking audience that we're now going to do this. We're going to vote for Donald Trump because Trump said he's going to protect us. And then what did that motherfucker, that fucking turncoat ass motherfucker, do as soon as he got into office? Was turn on the unions and made the union heads look like idiots. Idiots. Because they interjected their personal political opinion after they were affected, right? And keep in mind, there's a lot of people that get threatened and they turn because they fear for their safety or their family's safety. There's a reason that I get on here and I say, if you're scared, go to fucking church. Get out of politics. If you're the kind of person to get scared at someone's bullying tactics, get out of the way. You weren't meant for this. And there's a reason that I want to build the American Socialist Party, that I want to hit up my fellow veterans, that I want to hit up unions, right? And I want to hit up my LGBTQIA plus friends because they protest. They go to pride festivals. They will become the loudest part of your socialist movement. Why? Because we're the pro-equality party. We're the ones saying we are made up of you. We'll never turn our back on you. Same thing with union members. You make up our leadership. We would never turn our back on you. Democrats can't say that. Republicans can't fucking say that. Both of them, if you look at the course of history between Democrats and Republicans, they've both shown to be anti-union. Why? Because unions help develop a middle class. Because people go from entry-level employees, they show up to their union meetings. When they get an opportunity to speak, they're heard. They get a leadership position within their union. They get promoted at their job. Everything's going great. They're making way more money, right? They're able to kind of complete the American dream. And for the record, one of the things that fucking drives me goddamn crazy is the cost of houses. How the fuck are you supposed to build a house or move anywhere and do anything? There's, we were looking at houses in this Wolcott, Indiana, right? There's a house that's just a few hundred square feet bigger. So like one room bigger, maybe. And it's double what I owe on my home. For like 300 square feet? That's nothing. And it's in like a small town. But it's a $310,000 house that I would not pay that for. So that's one of the reasons, by the way, I might not take that job, is because it might not be feasible. You look at us, been going for an hour. I did see an article where Poland is putting every male in its country through military training to prepare for war. So know that Europe is more than willing to step up and replace the United States. and face Russia. And I certainly hope they get that shit the fuck over with quick, fast, in a hurry, and disarm. That's the biggest problem is you got to take nuclear weapons away from bad guys. Because that's what our whole lives, Russia's threatened nuclear war against the United States. And they've never done it. But also they don't have the means. You're early today or I'm late. Well, I mean, here's what I usually do, okay? Monday through Friday, I try to be available. I try to be ready or start the show at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. to about 9:30. On the weekends, I figure everybody's sleeping in anyway. So today, the plan moving forward is to go live at 9 a.m. on Saturday, Sunday. Okay. So 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, start. 9 a.m. on the weekend to let everybody sleep in a little bit. Yeah. Because I still got to work today. I got to go get the groceries and work today. Okay. So, there's no such thing as being late. You're where you're meant to be. And if that's here with me, then that just rhymed. But yeah, we've been going over a lot of stuff. Oh God. Hey, if I didn't have a day job, you know what I mean? That's still like a 4 or 6 a.m. latest start for you, and that's on the weekends. Oh, by the way, news related, but not politics. Did y'all hear about Gene Hackman and his wife? Did you hear about this shit? All right, so I'm gonna talk about. I'm not religious, so if you think it's insensitive for me to talk about dead people, understand that I'm not religious, so I don't care. Okay, Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead. And if you don't know who Gene Hackman was and why I'm talking about it, it's because he's a fucking Marine. Okay, so Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead, and their fucking dog dead in its kennel. Fucking poor thing. So what had happened was before they died, Gene Hackman, I believe, had dementia. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to debate anything, but I'm going to try to do this with some grace. Gene Hackman, I believe, had some dementia, and they were much older. I think they were closer to their 80s, okay? From what I understand, Gene Hackman's wife died first of what's called hantavirus, okay? Which is primarily found in like mice. Okay? So here's some CDC.gov information about hantavirus. Okay? This fucking crazy situation. So Gene Hackman's wife dies of hantavirus. Gene Hackman has severe dementia. Now, the way someone and I don't know anything about dementia. I know that, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say it, even though it is kind of funny to say I don't know anything about dementia. But somebody said it's like walking in on your wife lying on the floor dead, walking out of the room, and 5 minutes later walking back in and rediscovering that your wife is dead. And then re-leaving the room. I can't believe this. My wife is dead, and come back and find that his wife is dead. He has fucking dementia. And he, as far as I remember, he died of heart disease. So a week later, um, keep in mind, again, I'm one of those people. For me, it's okay to talk about the dead because I'm not religious, so it doesn't like you get it. Heart disease is the most common killer of Americans. All our food is really bad. It's almost like these corporations are trying to kill us. They're all working together to make us sick all the time. Um, and then one of their dogs died in their kennel. You can imagine not being fed or let out for a long time. And then there was like other dogs that survived and all that shit. And what it made me realize is how fucking cruel we are to each other because where were their families? Where's Gene Hackman's kids? Where's their relatives? Where are the people that should be checking on our elders and just calling and saying, "Hey, are you doing?" And you realize that's what I do at work. I'm calling our elders and checking on them after I help them and making sure they're doing okay. Shit. Like, where the fuck? Where's their families? They should be held responsible for their death. You didn't call them or come check on them or send the police to them. Weeks had gone by. Think about how much money Gene Hackman made over the course of his career as an actor, and how wealthy he was, and how well connected his fucking kids probably are. So it's not like they couldn't have afforded to show up and check on mom and dad or call them. And my hope, because Gene Hackman was also a Marine, my hope is that he wasn't a Trumper and him and his wife weren't Trumpers, and that's why. That's what I'm fucking hoping. I'm hoping that his kids just treated their parents like shit. And it's not that they were fucking Trumpers and their family fucking ignored them. And this is what fucking happened. I don't know. Squint, I don't know. I don't know. Given that he had heart disease and dementia, it's like where was their home aid? Well, I can tell you. I can tell you what happened. Your healthcare companies decrease the amount of home aid. Year to year, healthcare changes. Every January 1st, new healthcare goes into effect. And one of the things that we noticed over the last several years is they took away 40 hours a week of in-home care. And it went down to like 35, 30 hours a week. Even then, whole plans eliminated in-home care. Whole healthcare companies have eliminated it because you got to think like they got to send people to your house, so they got to drive out to you, stay with you for an amount of time, then drive back. Like, think about that. If they're there 8 hours a day. That's like a 10-hour day, men, right? So, yeah. Semper Fi, obviously, Gene Hackman was Marine, do or die, baby. It's just unfortunate. Heart disease, dementia, it's like the worst way to go, right? Heart disease is one of the most common killers of Americans, so it's just unfortunate. And then dementia, goddamn. His wife passed, couldn't give him his heart meds. Yeah, and he has dementia, so he wouldn't remember to take it. She was in her 60s, he was in his 80s, and she should have had help, yeah. And you know what's crazy? And you know what's crazy about this experience? Because I'm estranged from my parents. My dad has never reached out to me. I'm 41. Since I was like 21. So 20 years. In the 20 years since I turned 21, my dad has never, "Hey Jared, how you doing? Been a while. My dad's never done that. My mom does not do that. Like my mom, even when we had a good relationship, I'm dead ass. My mom only communicates with me and someone dies. For example, my mom worked for the post office when I was growing up. And one of the people that she befriended, his name was Travis Green. He was gay. Or yeah, because he's dead. He was gay and he was younger than my mom, like 15 years younger than my mom. And so he was like having a gay older brother or like a gay cousin we stayed at their house. They took us places. They were super fucking nice people. They never ever ever had a bad conversation with Travis Green. I fucking went out and partied with Travis when I turned fucking 21. He was a great fucking time. I saw him at the gay bars. And he was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I was like, "My boss is gay, and he's a little guy, and I'm afraid him going out to fucking bars, he's gonna get his ass fucking kidnapped and raped, right?" So I can hang out, stand at the bar, tell every man that hits on me like I'm straight. You see that really good looking man over there, and they're like, "Oh my god, he's so beautiful." And I'm like, the one that looks like a Greek god. I'm just his coworker, and I'm just trying to make sure nothing bad happens. That's all I care about. He's just a little guy. He's like 5'6". But yeah, Travis Green died. He was like a childhood sort of like friend. And my mom's like, "Yeah, Travis Green died." Not, "Hey Jared, how are you? How are things? Hey, has some bad news. Travis died." Right? None of that shit. So not only does my father has not attempted to communicate with me in 20 fucking years. What's bananas? It makes the whole situation like completely fucked up. Are you ready for this? If I treat my parents well, when I treat my parents well, it pushes them away from me. So when I reach out to my dad and I say, "Hey dad, haven't heard from you in years. The weather's fucking crazy up here. How is it where you are?" It pushed him away from me. Where he was like, why are you communicating with me? Do you need something? No. The weather's fucking insane. You fucking asshole. And he'll be like, "Okay, that's weird." Same thing with my mom. Anytime I've been kind to my mom, she takes it as something else, like an ulterior motive. Mm-hmm. And it's ultimately because those people stopped fucking learning and stopped paying attention to the news. I'm telling you, my parents stopped paying attention to the fucking news when the Challenger exploded in 1987. My parents checked the fuck out. And we're like, "I'm just going to go to work 8 hours a day and then have this fucked up relationship with my fucking kids," right? Because my brother, how about this and I'm just spilling the beans, this is just fucking the way the world works. My brother still has a relationship with my dad, and my brother is a professional drag racer. He is self-funded, a Top Fuel dragster driver. And my brother's wife, Emily, the last time we were with her, she told us that her and Justin are because she won't go there if my dad's going to be there. So my brother's forsaking his relationship with his wife to have my dad show up when my brother goes drag racing. As someone who's spent a lot of time around both them motherfuckers, they don't care enough. And that's how people die. And people get hurt. And that's why I'm not there. Is because they're careless with their words and careless with their actions. I'm neither. So I just am not around. Because I know in my heart of hearts, in my mind, my brother's wife should be there with him. His kids should want to be there with him. And they're not. because of my old man and his impact on them. Hmm? So yeah. So just so you all know, like, y'all are my family. My wife's family is my family. Good to go. My friends are my family, right? Ooh. Huh, you remember when CBS gave Donald Trump a bunch of money? Yo, is this right? Speaker laid before the House a message from the president transmitting a notification declaring a national emergency in order to halt efforts by the International Criminal Court to investigate, arrest, detain, or prosecute persons in America and our close ally Israel through blatant lawfare, referred to the Committees on Foreign Affairs and Judiciary, order to be printed. What? That's kind of a big deal. Yeah, no. So remember how they gave him money right after the election? CBS like settled with him. They have decided in the last 48 hours that they're challenging that, and they're going to take his ass to court. I'm telling you, he's going down. I've been saying it. This is why I don't get on Twitter. It gives me too much hope. Yeah, I've been trying to say it. I felt like a lot of this is show. Yo, did y'all hear what Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim canceled all collaborations with Starlink in Latin America? It was like Donald Trump had a business partner in like 25, or Elon Musk had a business partner in like 25 countries that canceled his fucking deal, his $7 billion deal with him. Yep. I'm looking for more news stuff. Mhm. We're pretty consistent today, by the way. I appreciate y'all sticking around. But yeah, don't sympathize. Don't stop speaking out. Um, I don't care what poor leadership says. I want to get back on that. Like one of the things that I will always point out pretty quickly is when someone isn't real. When they have this speech pattern that lets you know that it's practiced and that it's not genuine. That's how I feel when I hear Hakeem Jeffries speak. He doesn't feel genuine. He's bought and paid for. just like any other politician that you've ever had this thought in the back of your mind, like, what the fuck? Hundreds of thousands of dollars from AI Pack. He's got a puppet master too. Billionaires prop up these Democrats too. So if you ever wondered why a lot of them are fucking quiet, it's because a lot of them are on payroll. You may not like hearing that. It might not be your favorite politician, right? But in my eyes, there aren't very many that are like doing good, right? Like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Bernie. It's a very short list. Power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yeah, Cat was one of my fucking video titles the other day. Sounds like Newsom slipping too. He had a new podcast and he invited Charlie Kirk on the first episode. I don't know that that's flipping, but I think people were always expecting Gavin Newsom to do some weird shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, one of the things that's fucking crazy I would say this past week, has been the number of posts I've seen on Reddit where people are like, hey, how do you guys feel about this idea that the election was stolen? And you're like, what? Where have you been for the last 4 fucking months? We've been talking about this every day. Every day. And people are like, just now, oh, wait, I saw this. Does this mean? And you're like, and I get it. It ain't on the news and shit. But that's what if I were ever to be nominated for a public office, if I were to ever win, I ain't no fucking turncoat. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no fucking turncoat. Like, I'm gonna tell you what team I'm on, what direction I'm going, what policies this is the plan, these are exactly what I'd want to do, right? And I'm not waffling on that. I'm not getting into power and realizing, fuck all of you, this is about me. And I'm going to call people out when I'm an elected official. You waffling ass motherfucker. Like you wouldn't like that on a campaign trail. What the fuck? Because I can't believe that ain't nobody speaking on that shit. Like these women, there's 2 women, and there's a reason I'm saying women. There's 2 women in Florida that ran as Democrats and fucking won as Democrats and flipped. We had it happen in Indiana. Sparts, I believe, won as a Republican and flipped a Democrat. Now, tit for tat, hey, if you can go from Democrat to Republican, you can go from Republican to Democrat. Good to go. They're all on the same fucking team. Good to go. I didn't hear what he said about the trans community, but here's what I think. Any derogatory comments about the trans community is a low blow by a coward. Why? Because the trans community is the smallest community of people in terms of number of them. So you understand that? You understand that? Every time you hear some anti-trans shit, that just speaks to the power of trans people. Is that they can literally constantly be in these motherfuckers' heads, and there's nothing they can do about it. Just continue to be pretty and ambiguous? Oops. And you know who's super fucking pretty? Androgynous black women that are trans. Just letting you know. I know why they're all freaking the fuck out. Cause it's like their dick gets hard and they can't explain it. Right? See, I'm one of those people, I've been around all them things and it didn't turn me on. Didn't do anything for me. I'm not gay. But I can harshly fucking defend people that are, because there are people whose fucking heart flutter when they see like a beautiful man, right? When I see one, I'm like, oh, it's Adonis. What up, dog? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking about fucking, you know? So, let's eat the rich and get out of here. I gotta go get the groceries. Women's March today, so if you're gonna go out and march, be careful. Protest Finder USA would probably be the best place to find all that. Okay. And we'll be I'm guessing live Monday, TikTok and YouTube. Right? Imagine how amazing the world if we just be who we are. Yep. And you know why, Kat, you know why you can't be who you are? Because when some people be who they are, they're loud. They're just a loud person, and people can't fucking tolerate it. Why are you so loud? I'm one of those people where shit will be, and people be like, why are you in a good mood? And I'm just like, I ain't have nothing to do with that shit. I can only control this, right? I can only make sure I'm well rested, make sure I'm fed, make sure I drink water, exercise when I can. Good to go? I'm controlling what I can control. I'm not gonna be in a bad mood because some other shit's fucked up. Like for example, remember how I told y'all? I'm gonna turn this off real quick. Remember how I told y'all I've been struggling at work and I turned it the fuck around? In fact, it was such a fucking blatant turnaround that at the first division meeting, my second week on the floor, my boss shouted me out. And then in front of 150 fucking people plus my goddamn director, I got fucking shouted out in front of the whole fucking crew. It ain't me. It's them. Because since then, since I had this miraculous fucking turnaround, okay, it's been dead. It's been fucking dead. I ain't even getting no calls. Nobody is. In fact, yesterday was criminally dead. So understand, no matter what happens, like I'm gonna be all right. Because like I said, I know there's a lot of people that fuck with me that haven't been lately. And it's because they're having some thoughts, but they are failing to understand the environment we're in, the time frame we're in, and what's going on. There's people that I know are cowards, and they're not strong enough to come to me and tell me how they feel. Their silence says it all. You're not supporting me says everything. Is that you've laid expectations on me I can't possibly fucking meet, and every fucking day I show up anyway, and I am undeterred. And my mood, I argue I'm the same person every fucking day. So I just want to make sure I say this towards the end of a show. Don't You need to make sure that your cheering is just as loud as your criticism, because I don't hear shit. So I just want to get that out there. Just make sure your cheers as loud as your fucking criticism. Because right now I don't hear nothing. So I know when you have a community of people and you're a leader of people, people coward, and don't say shit. And I know they want to say something along the lines of, there's not enough movement, you're not moving fast enough. Why don't you pay for it then? Why don't you build it all? You want some movement so goddamn much. Why don't you quit your fucking job and fucking build this goddamn political party? Why don't you do it? Because instead of saying nothing, when I know there are members of my community that want to say something, but you're a fucking coward bitch. So you ain't going to say shit. You just going to be quiet. If you have a problem with the way I'm doing shit, open your fucking yapper. Say something. Do something. Offer to do something. Because there's plenty of people that are doing it. Plenty of people are reaching out to me in support and saying, I fucking support you 100%. You're doing fucking great no matter what you fucking do. Right? But there's some people that are like important as part of this fucking movement that have completely shut themselves up. And I know why. It ain't because you're holding back fucking cheer. It's because you got something to fucking say and you're too coward to say it. So I'm just making it a fucking point that I know. I know. I've been in leadership positions before. I know. You'll always have detractors that want to be really close to you. People that say they're on your team, but they're only on your team in proximity to you. And if this affects you directly, where you're like, oh shit, I feel like he's talking about me, don't even say anything. I know. This isn't me guessing. I wasn't born yesterday. And again, I'm just making, before a word is said, cowards, let your cheer be as loud as your criticism. Good to go? Because there's way too many people that are willing to give feedback and not very many people willing to do shit. So while you got plenty of feedback, where's your cheer? Because I don't hear that shit for showing the fuck up here every fucking day, for combing through the news every fucking day, and for presenting that to you, and speaking with you, and actually interacting with you, and me not being a fucking robot or shill. And all the while working a full-time job and starting a fucking political party. And again, I'd ask, if you have criticism for me, what the fuck are you doing? Nothing. If you have criticism, if you have time to criticize me, you ain't doing shit. Because if you were doing something, I could look at what you're doing and go, oh, hey, you're making market improvement and movement. And largely that's who's had feedback for me, is the people that are doing nothing, or the people that can't take accountability, the people that can't look at their own lives, see what they're doing themselves, and understand that that's got to change first before you can point to other people and try to change them. Get your shit together. And that's before a word is said. You better have your shit together and let your cheer be as loud as your criticism. That's all I'm saying, before anybody even bothers to break the silence. Cowards. So that said, I appreciate all of you that are here every day that I have a normal relationship with and interaction with. But yeah, there are some people that are close in proximity who have gone silent, and I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. I just want to say it with my full chest. And so, like I said, for now, it's all fucking fun and games, right? It's all pejorative. It's all planning. But when shit starts really happening, and you already know who people are, it's a damn shame. It's a shame. You think I'm going to trust somebody that only ever has negative feedback for me? Who don't ever have a kudos for me? The fuck out of here. You must not understand how this relationship works. I need positive feedback. Right? I like to think the way I behave and live my life doesn't require a lot of negative feedback, because I'm not doing the wrong things. But that like positive shit, it's gasoline. Yep. So yeah, to all of you that have people that are part of your lives that are fucking toxic as fuck, cut that shit out of your life. Spend more time around people that make you feel better. like a therapist. Like a therapist. Have a good rest of your week.